Hi everyone, it's Luke Hector here, and this is the first podcast of 2026. Yes, we're finally into the new year, and it feels pretty much the same as it did before. I don't know, it's cold, and it's cold. Yeah, I don't know. New Year is not something I get that excited about. I basically just go online and do some PC gaming with friends for the countdown, and that's about it. So it's not like a massive deal for me, but I just got to finish off 1 month of this last job, and then I start my new job next month. So fingers crossed that that all goes to plan. And of course, I've got HandyCon next weekend, so that's gonna be a good bit of fun as well. From whenever on Thursday, really, because I've got the day off. I'll turn up afternoon Thursday if there's anyone there who wants to game at the hotel. But for the most part, yes, I will be there from Thursday to Sunday for HandyCon, so that's going to be good fun. Say hi if you can, by all means. Just come up and say hi. It's all good. Got plenty of stuff to sell off at the Bring and Buy, and got a few games that I want to get played in terms of just like personal games. Like, I'm not going to be bringing stuff I need to review to the convention because I'm kind of up to date with that stuff now. So this is actually a chance for me to just jump into some games that I enjoy. Like, there's a Galactic Cruise game on. My friends are going to do Underwater Cities with the Data Era expansion. I'm going to do my usual convention hegemony game, so games that I want to play that I already enjoy. So it should be a nice, good convention to kind of unwind from the chaos of what is Essen. So there's not going to be a huge amount to discuss on this episode. I've got one game I want to talk about, which is going to make your jawlines drop, and certainly a small topic for what's going on ahead. But other than that, generally things are kind of stable, stable with the channel. If I load it up here, so 27,058 subs, we're climbing, and there's been a lot of content, as you can see, in recent periods. I've had to get a lot done, but since I did the last podcast, I did a few more reviews: Take Time, Walking in Osaka, Miskatonic Tales, Echoes of Time, Recall. That was to finish up before Christmas, and then after that I've done Coming of Age, I've done Deckers, I've done Ember Heart, which certainly got some interesting feedback on that one, and my top 10 of 2025, which honestly, yeah, it does say a lack of distinctions there on the title. 2025 kind of was a lack of distinctions. It wasn't exactly the best year ever. So it was hard to actually find 10 games I could really shout out about. Yeah, there's a few games that I've given a seal of distinction to in that year, but not many. And one of those only came at the last minute. So it's not being the best year for gaming, although there was a bigger consistency than 2024 of games that were good/above average. So half-decent games. They're fine games. They're good. They're nothing amazing, but they're good. Or they're above average and I'll play them. But, so 2024 had even less of those, but maybe a few more belters, whereas 25 had very few belters, if any, and mostly just a consistent, yeah, it's fine. So I'm hoping that 2026 will improve on this, but let's face it, I think we're at that stage in board gaming where it's very difficult for stuff to actually do that. But one can hope as we go into the new year with some, added perspective. But yeah, that's just kind of a quickie rundown of what's there. So in terms of the podcast, you would have noticed the intro changed. Yes, I mean, the intro is still the same video, although I did cut out some of the more cringy stuff and just replaced it with some typical stock footage. But the theme tune changed. It's an old tune I used to have in the old days of the Broken Meeple. It's a tune I quite like, so I wanted to adapt it and use it as the podcast one. But the main thing is that you will notice I removed the cringe speaking. The more I listen to the podcast, the more I'm like, oh man, I really don't like listening to myself going, "You're listening to the Broken Meeple podcast, and I'm an everyday gamer." Oh my god, yeah, and it's like, cringe humor really does grate me now. I've got to this stage in my life where cringe is, hate it. And as I listen to that podcast intro, all I'm thinking is cringe. So I'm more than happy to get rid of that. So none of me speaking, just a nice tune that plays, and then we get into the podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you see the intro, you hear a nice tune, and we get into the podcast. Job done. It's less cringy that way. So hopefully that's an improvement. That will basically be the 2026 format going forward, and it helps to just keep things, looking like it's fresh and new, shall we say. So what do I want to talk about generally? Well, let's talk about a game first. And yeah, this one's going to make you, it's going to make you wince maybe, or go, what? Railway Boom. Yeah, you heard me right. Railway Boom. As in the game from Hisashi Hayashi. I don't know how you pronounce it, but Simone Luciani. Basically, this is a game from ArcLight Games, and it's kind of like a sort of Japanesey theme one, but it's set in Japan. It's a train game. It's a tight resource management auction game. And this one, Essen, was one where if you wanted to get a copy of this, people queued, I'm not kidding here, over an hour before the convention even opened. Because they only had so many copies each day, and people, for some reason, were queuing for this and this little penguin game that they were releasing. I'm not entirely sure what that game was. Maybe if I load up the publisher, I might find it. Oh no, 603 games. I mean, it's a distributor, so I mean, I don't know, maybe I can find the actual publisher. Let's see, publisher. No, ArcLight Games and Cranio Creations. I mean, this isn't quite going to work, but they had this little penguin game. It looked really cute. It was a family sort of weight game, and people were queuing for that as well. But this one was one that people were going ape for in terms of queuing. Not loads of people, but the people who know what this game is were going goo goo gaga for it. Now, if you're not familiar with Hisashi as a designer, I mean, most people know who Simone Luciani is. Hisashi has done not that many games, well, in terms of like well-known games, but the games that he has done, friends of mine are big fans of, and I think they pretty much were all just on that bit there. So, yeah, he's done Trains and Yokohama. So Trains was a deck building game, a bit like Dominion, but it was themed around trains, and you had a little map. And Yokohama was this big Euro game where you just had a bunch of little mini games dotted around the map. You went and did them and got victory points. Yeah, there's only so much I can say about both of those, really. I don't mind Trains, but I hated the map part of it, and I don't care about Trains. I hate Trains. Trains are a stupid mode of transportation. I hate them. I mean, granted, Europe knows how to run a train service and actually make it run on time 99% of the time, but even then, I prefer the tram system to the train system. But at the end of the day, the UK train system just sucks. It sucks donkey balls, and I hate it. And I just don't think trains are anything to write home about. Granted, I've never ridden on a Japanese bullet train. Maybe that would change my mind. But, you know, that goes without showing that the Japanese generally know how to do these things right. But yeah, it's not my favorite game in the world. And I don't particularly care about Yokohama. Yokohama's an okay game. It's not bad, but it's very dry. It's very much, look, here's a bunch of weird little mini games dotted around a map. Move your guy around and put tokens down and get victory points. I mean, it's super dry. It doesn't mean anything to the fact that it's set in Yokohama. It is just basically a big dry Euro game that outstays its welcome, frankly. It goes beyond 3 hours at times, and it's like, no. I already did as much as I could do with my focus this game within 2 hours. Okay, now I've got to find something to do for an hour, which I wasn't focused on to begin with. It's like, I don't particularly like that. Was Bomb Busters one of his? Oh, okay. Bomb Busters was one of his games. Fair enough. I've never actually played Bomb Busters. I've heard people talk fairly good stuff about it, but I don't know if it's the kind of game for me. I mean, these real-time, these are real-time, isn't it? Is it real-time? So, where does it say about how it is? You defuse bombs by deducing and cutting unseen wires of different values. Yeah, but isn't it real-time? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not done in real time. I'm not sure. Honestly, I know very little about Bomb Busters. I just don't know if it's a game that I would like personally. So I haven't really looked into it much. But I don't know. You guys in the comments, tell me what Bomb Busters is like. Is it actually any good? Is it something you think I'll like, or is it just one of these little sort of cheap little gimmicky games? And is it real time? Because I can't tell if it's real time or not. If it's not real time, then I'll probably enjoy it a little bit more. But if it is, then I'll be like, I don't know, because real-time games are not generally my favorite. Anyway, back to the point. I'm talking about Railway Boom here. So, Railway Boom is like this. Oh, yeah. It's not exactly much of a looker, is it? No, it really isn't. It's pretty ugly. You might think, oh, God, this looks like a sort of Age of Steam thing. Well, you're not far wrong. It is basically like an Age of Steam game. The idea is that you have 4 rounds, and in the round you have 5 different auctions that go off. You know, the phrase "we're going to have a little auction" was basically a running meme joke between me and my friends as we were playing it, because as he's teaching the rules, he's basically repeatedly saying, "we're going to have a little auction," because it pretty much almost could be something you could say like all together now. You know those sing-along songs where you get the text at the bottom, the little ball goes across the words as you sing. You almost, as you're teaching this game, goes like, "now repeat after me, kids. We're going to have a little auction. It's like, okay. Auctions are not my favorite mechanic in the world, but in this one, they're generally quick at, well, I say quick, we'll get onto that later, but they're the short bidding ones, that the values aren't insanely high. It's not like Power Grid, where the values go to ridiculous lengths and it's drawn out and, it takes forever to resolve one. It requires a ton of mathematical calculations every time somebody makes a different bid. Those ones I don't like. These ones, though, where it's a bit more comparable to something like Biblios or High Society, these ones I'm a little bit more like okay with. But the idea is that these auctions are all bidded on with various resources, and the resources, as you can see, are measured on this particular track here, which is as dull as ditch water as you can look at it. I mean, yeah, it's one of those typical tracks where you've got the cube at an angle and you use that to mark everything. This thing is a pain in the ass to keep still. You knock this, the cubes go everywhere, but the idea is that you've got wood, you've got money, you've got technology, you've got coal, and you've got victory points as income. Ask me what that's supposed to be thematically, but the idea is that you've got income tracks on the left, you've got your storage on the right. This is what you are bidding, and when you go through the different phases, the stuff that you are bidding depends on the auction. So first you bid on the carriages and the train cards. They allow you to do different things in the delivery phase. That uses wood. Then with money, you're bidding on the station. So you can put a station down on the board and start building track from it, which is just represented by the little train pieces like you see in every other train game ever. But that's done with money. Then you do technologies. These give you one-off bonuses, some ongoing effects, some other ways to get points, and they're bid on with technology. You can see where I'm going with this. Then you get some income. Then you get another phase where you run your trains. So the ones you bought with wood, you now pay coal to run them, and they get you various bonuses, other resources, victory points, whatever, depending on what you've created. And then you have another auction, yep, I'm going with this, for these objective cards on the right, where you score at the end of the game for various criteria, and it's how well you score for them. Rinse and repeat for 4 rounds. The idea with the map is that you're basically building to try and have one big long contiguous route across like the entire map. It doesn't really matter where you go. There are route connection cards. However, as I'll explain in a minute, they are garbage fire. And that's basically, you're more concerned with picking up the cities because they give you resources or boost up your income tracks. They give you carts which you put on your train, and so when you run your train you actually get more resources. But for the most part, you are trying to get your track to basically extend across the board, because by doing so you score a bucket load of points at the end of the game. In fact, you score so many points for this at the end of the game that it's damn near crippling if you don't do it. It's a little bit too important in this. The game doesn't exactly sound like the most fun thing in the world, but I did actually enjoy myself overall. But I'm not going to say that this is the best game in the world, game of the year 2025, sliced bread comparisons like some people I know have, okay? There are some people who claim this is one of their favorite games now. I don't get it, okay? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough. I'd probably give this a 6 out of 10, I think. I don't think I can go as high as a 7, but I think I'd give it a 6. It's fine. I know, I like the tight resource management. I like the idea that you've got multiple resources that are all important, but they're auctioned at different times, so different things are needed for different things. So I like the fact that you can kind of go, well, I'm focusing a bit more on money this time round, so I'm good with the stations, but I don't have as much technology, so I'm not really dominating that auction. You ideally want a bit of everything, but sometimes you will end up specializing, and as a result, you're going to dominate one aspect of the game and not others. That sort of bit I like. I like resource management, and the auction are relatively speedy. The analysis paralysis in this game can go up to 25 plus. Forget 1 to 10. This thing goes up to 25 in terms of analysis paralysis, because everything you bid or everything you're likely to spend is so critical in this game. It's so tight that overspending or misspending or anything can completely screw you, and you really don't want to be in that situation. So you're going to be thinking about these bids. But I do like this system where, depending on the player count, whoever's ahead bids the entire amount. Whoever's behind them only bids half what they bid, and whoever's at the back doesn't pay anything. So it's a case of, well, do I really want this particular card or station? Then I'm going to make sure I win the bid, but I got to pay for it. But then if I'm at the back, I'm not too fussed, well, you know what? I don't have to pay diddly squat, and I get something. May not be amazing, but I get something. So it's not bad. You get something even if you're at the back of the bid, and then it dictates turn order for the next auction. That in itself I actually quite like. I enjoy that aspect from it. There are, however, some problems that I do have with this game. The bidding behavior is going to hinge a lot on your enjoyment, because what tends to happen is this little bit at the bottom where, somebody bids 2 or 3, okay? Then the next person bids 1 above them. Then the next person bids 1 above them, and so forth until everyone gets bored. Your bidding behavior may differ from that, and certainly I know Paul Grogan and the chums on Slack will testify to that. But the bidding behavior I saw in this particular game, bear in mind I've only played it once with 2 friends of mine who are train game fans who know about these sort of auction games. This was the bidding behavior we had, and it's not the most exciting auction you can ever get. But this track goes up to 20 odd plus in terms of resources here. When the hell does anybody bid this much stuff? We never went above, I think, during the game, I don't think I bid above 6. And then in the last auction, when it doesn't really matter if you retain the resources, I think some people did bid about 8 to 10. But that was it. The last auction of the entire game. Nobody ever went 11 to 20. Who's bidding at this level? Really? I've never seen anybody bid that high. The fact that it goes to 20 just seems ridiculous. I mean, hell, you might as well just cap it at 10. Because nobody's realistically going to bid above 10. Why would you? That's a lot of resources. Where are you swimming in this much resources? How's your income this high? I don't know, that just seems a bit mad. But there's some other problems as well. Because as much as the resource management is generally pretty good, I like the graphic design. The graphic design is very easy to understand. Tools design, so great. Artwork, yes, this game is ugly as sin. You can see it's not a looker. But then let's face it, how many of these train hex games are lookers? They're simply not. Theme-wise, this is, 2 things you have to bear in mind as well. Before I went into this game, I didn't know Luciani co-designed it. Frankly, his DNA is not easily found in this anyway, and also one of the things that he did introduce into this game, the route connection cards, was garbage anyway, so I didn't know that. But I was warned in advance that the route connections are garbage, so thankfully I didn't focus too much on them. But then also, I detached myself from the fact that this is about trains. Because you could retheme this to anything. The theme means nothing. This, I kid you not, replace the map with an area of space, with asteroids and nebulas and black holes and stuff like that, right? Then change trains to spaceships and convoys or shuttles or something like that. Okay, cool. And then change wood to alloys, change money to credits, same thing basically. Technology can remain the same. You could call it energy maybe. And coal changes to fuel, space fuel, whatever like that. Victory points remain the same. There you go, you have just rethemed this entire game to something more interesting than trains. So yeah, the theme is pasted. You don't have to worry too much that it is a train-themed game, because that usually helps. But the map is the weak segment, because having your stuff in a line is so critical for endgame scoring, it's unreal. You're scoring around 200 points in this game. Getting a couple of points for something means pretty much nothing. And there's 2 aspects on the map that dominate this game. Firstly, building the long route. At the end of the game, you score 2 points for every track in your biggest route. That is a lot of points. You are talking in the regions of 20 to 40 points for that element. That is a decent chunk of your score. And the issue with this is that it's not very easy to build your track in a particular line, because when you auction off the stations, they don't all come out in the game, and they come out at random. So you may not get the locations come out in the auctions to help you build your longest route. That's unacceptable. That I really do not like. I managed to build my long route only because the exact right location came out of the deck at the exact time I happened to have a bit of spare money. That was the only reason that I scored did not tank multiple legions behind the other 2 players. It's entirely luck-based as to whether you can do your long route. Well, not entirely. Yes, you've got to win the bid and obviously get those locations. But if the locations don't come up anywhere near where your track is, then, well, you're not going to do a big route. It's just end of. And then your points are crippled. The other problem, these route connection cards. I'll see if I can get a shot of them, because this guy's focusing on the moguls here. Seriously, move to the rotten... let's see if I can get it. But basically, the route connection cards are like your sort of ticket to ride things. So, you want to get from A to B. So, here you go. You want to get from this place to this place. And if you can do so, you get this many points, and anybody else gets this many points. Getting from those spots is incredibly difficult, because firstly, it may not be on the long route that you're doing. Secondly, it requires the stations near those locations to come up out of the deck for auction in the first place. And thirdly, the points values is garbage. It takes a lot of effort to get from these two to each other because of the mountains and that. It costs more to build the track on them. It gets you 7 points if you're there first. That is nothing. That is a pittance in points. And everybody else, 3? The amount of effort in a 200-point game, and you want me to spend all this time to get 3 points. This root connection thing, I think, is something that Simone Luciani added in. And honestly, even the fans of the game, Grogan himself even comments that this is not a good inclusion in the game, okay? So even on those people who think that this game is the best thing sliced bread cannot defend the fact that these root connection cards are stupid. Like, they can easily be house ruled out of the game. You do not need them in the game. You know, if you took them out, you literally lose nothing. You can tell it was shoved in at the last minute without any thought to balancing the points or, you know, how well they would work. They're stupid. I would happily play this game again and have them taken out because there's no point to them. So, you know, thanks for that addition, Luciani, I guess. But overall, is the game alright? It's alright. That's basically what I can say about it. I was umming and ahhing between 6 and 7. I'm coming down to a 6 because the map is definitely the weak element for me, as it is with a lot of these Age of Steam-like games or something. These sort of games where you're building tracks on the map, I don't care. You know, they're just not interesting. And this guy's not very good at arranging the tracks on his board. God, that's messy as hell. But the main crux of this game is those auctions. The auctions and the resource management. That bit is fine. I'm okay with that. Multiple currencies, tight resource management, you know, auctions where you're not having to do mathematical calculations for stupidly high numbers and stuff. I'm cool with that, okay? And there's multiple ways to get points, and we had a very tight score at the end of the game only because I got lucky with my route. I mean, the other two never had to worry. The locations came up that were perfect for them. But, you know, my one, it's like, oh, well, that location's nowhere near me. Well, that location's nowhere near me. Great. Oh, thankfully, the one location that allowed me to plug up the spaces between my routes, you know, I got lucky to even get second place. You know, it was not... you know, not going to end well, shall we say, had that not happened. So that is a major flaw of the game. I think the stations coming out at random really do hurt this game a lot. But it's also not a looker. It's also long. I mean, it took us 2.5 hours, I think, with 3 of us. You know, it would take even longer with more. That's not including the teach. You know, you can AP and just be waiting for somebody to make up their mind on an auction. That gets annoying. You know, and, you know, could be guilty of that myself because, let's face it, it's so critical what you spend. You can't just rush through the auctions if you want to do well at this game. You've got to think about it. That takes time. With 4 players, that's going to be insane. Not to mention, if you run into each other on the map, it costs more to build. So in a 4-player game, you're going to be in each other's faces. And I don't want that. This game's tight enough as it is. I don't want it to be mean as well. So I'm not really that keen about playing it with 4. But I don't know. And also, I didn't like the way that the income tracks were a little bit like lackluster. You get a few bonuses as you level them up, fair enough. But, you know, in terms of how much resources you get, it seems that the income tracks don't give you enough. It takes ages to level up these income tracks, and all you get is, like, on average, like, you know, 2 to 4 things from it. If you do well on an income track, you might get 5 to 6. But that's nothing. That's not a huge amount of resources to big, given that it gives you an auction track that goes up to 20. But the real thing that gets you resources in this game is the carts. The carts on these train cards. You can basically put them on these slots, and they generate points or more income in that. And as you can see, there's 2 here that give you more income if you have multiple of those types of carts on this train. Well, there are certain ones that also give you the resource if you have multiple of those in the train. And the cart gives you the resource anyway. So let's say I've got, you know, a coin cart that gives me 1 resource of something, you know, when it runs. It gives me a coin for the cart, but it's also giving me the resource for whatever the carriage is giving me. Get enough of those carts, and you earn way more in resources than any of those income tracks are ever going to provide. You know, I had an income track pretty high on the money track, but it still only got me like 5 or 6 money a turn, whereas my friend, who's got several money cart tracks and, you know, a few chosen carriages, is able to generate like 10 to 15. I was like, well, what's the point of me having 6 income then? It's stupid. She didn't have any income for money, like 2 free income tops. So, like, our cube barely moved. But the cards just got all the income. So why did I care about raising my income track? You know, the income tracks just don't feel worth it compared to just simply having a good train that generates a lot of stuff. it's nice icing on the cake, but the effort you go through to level up your income tracks compared to just getting a few carts by building tracks on the particular route, I don't know, that just felt a little bit unbalanced to me. So the game has problems in my mind, but it's not the worst thing I've ever played. I mean, I have played far worse train games than this. Certainly I would never want to play like the likes of Age of Steam and stuff like that again. But this one was okay. But the fact that people were queuing up for an hour to like buy this game, and people are saying it's their best game ever or game of the year 2025, that I don't get. I'm sorry. I mean, I know these games aren't typically my kettle of fish, train games, but there's better games out there. I know 2025 was a sucky year, guys, but if this is what you consider to be the best thing there, I don't really follow that. So it's an okay game. It's not a bad game. It's just nothing to really write home about. Mm. Ah, sweet, sweet coffee. So quite a while to discuss that one. An okay game at best. But yeah, this is not the greatest thing since sliced bread that some people would want you to believe. All right, well, let's go on to the topic of the day. This one is not going to be too long, but basically I just want to go a little bit into 2026. I said I don't want to do top 10 anticipated games or anything like that because, frankly, we know nothing about the games in January. There's very little to go on. There's nothing to talk about, and let's face it, there's only so much to look forward to. So all I'm basically going to do is on the podcast, I will just briefly mention a few that I'm looking forward to and why, and we'll scroll down the 2026 sort of releases from Board Game Geek's perspective, and I'll just comment on a few to see if I really am looking forward to it or not. So let's get rid of Railway Boom. So let's go down. Flow, I've no idea. Is it any good? The last demo I had was garbage, so, I don't know, but it's not exactly jumping out at me as something that's going to be amazing, but we'll see. Stellaris Infinite Legacy, though, I am looking forward to, mainly because it's taken them years and years and years to hurry up and bloody make the thing. It's taken them forever. But I like Stellaris, the game, by Paradox and all that lot, so I want to see this game brought to life, done well, by a publisher who's generally known for doing good stuff. But will it look good? Is it going to look boring? Is it going to, have the meat of the original Stellaris game? Academy Games may have oversold themselves, I don't know, but come on, fingers crossed, create something that's going to be good. I mean, the fact that it's got such a really low rating, though, is a little bit worrying, but yeah, and the problem is it's getting review bombed, because, 4.7 is not what the rating is, but look at the ones here. Ran with the money, something is really wrong, they have messed up, clearly a scam, the Kickstarter for this is a scam. Stalling and making outlandish claims about production status, scam. Delay upon delay, delay, delay. So people are basically reviewing this review bombing this based on the Kickstarter. Granted, the Kickstarter has not been handled well, okay? So they're not handling the Kickstarter and they're in any good way. Their updates are very rare, very lackluster, and, it is a bit of a pain. The problem is that there's also a bunch of people putting 10s on this for no reason. They're trying to balance out the ones. Look at that. I mean, this is why BGG just sucks, really, as a ranking system. Look at this. 10, 1, 10, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, fun. Like, a few putting in 5s here. I mean, who the hell should even be ranking this game? The game isn't even made yet, you cretins. I don't know, but ignore this. This is the problem with loads of problems with BGG. I use it as a database, but honestly, this website is far from grandiose. But yeah, so I'm honestly looking forward to getting it finished and trying it out, but I'm tempering my expectations accordingly, and I don't think they ran the Kickstarter very well. But have a bit of patience, you guys, all right? Jesus. At least it's going to happen. At least it's not, like, effectively cancelled yet. All right, okay, so for that. World Order, some people have already played it. I demoed it before. I liked it okay, but not great. It's basically Twilight Struggle for multiplayer. I'd like to play a more up-to-date copy of it, but it's not one that I'm, like, clamoring to get. What I'm really looking forward to is the Hegemony expansion that was announced. But if that's not going to release this year, or if it's not coming till 2027, I don't know when it's coming out, then, but yeah, that's one I'm looking forward to, the Hegemony expansion. Horror on the Orient Express, I mean, I'm kind of curious to see what this will do from Chaosium. I mean, Miskatonic Tales was a decent story-based game, but man, did they muck up the rulebook and the errata issue. So let's hope they haven't done the same with this one, because it looks more complicated and more harder to deal with. If you muck up the rulebook and the errata on this one's going to be unplayable, but it could be fun. You know, I am hoping that this one's going to be a fun Cthulhu one based on a very popular part of the, the lore with the train and that. So I'm looking forward to it, but do not muck this up, all right? Do not muck this up. Let's see. The Great Library from Vital Lacerda. Don't particularly care. I mean, I have not even played Speakeasy yet because the UK apparently had fulfillment issues. Apparently it got delayed. And I've also heard that the Speakeasy game has some errata and errors on it. I'm sorry, but if you're going to pay that much for a game on Kickstarter, I expect you to get it right. So I will play Speakeasy when they fix the problems and when somebody teaches me it. But I'm not going out of my way to locate a game that costs that much and they can't even get it right. The Great Library is a location sort of theme that I could not care less about. And so I'm not exactly looking forward to this one. I mean, this one looks like a bit like the AR type artwork. It looks like every other Euro game ever. There's nothing about this one that remotely calls out to me saying this one is going to be like an awesome game. It could be. I mean, it's Vital Lacerda. There's 4 of his games behind my head. He used to make like really awesome games, but lately it's just not working out. And I'm not sure that this one is going to be is going to be the one that brings it back, especially when it's based on the theme that a lot of people just aren't that interested in. Because I'm hearing this. A lot of people aren't that excited for the Great Library, when you ask people about it. So, I don't know. Maybe things are whittling down a bit. All right, well, let's see. Brass Pittsburgh, whatever. It's going to be brass with extra steps. I don't like brass. I don't care about Pittsburgh. Whatever. Pass. Revenant, though. I backed this one. I am definitely looking forward to Revenant. I mean, a year, Voidfall I wasn't the biggest fan of, but this is nowhere near as complicated as Voidfall. It's just using the same setting and the same graphic design in that. But the idea that you have this map with a space battle going on, and the worker spots are the ships that can get damaged and blow up, and they're different factions and they move around the map. I mean, the theme is on point with this from the demo I played, and you can even get the mothership to jump drive to a new location, reset the map, and get victory points and stuff like that for it. I mean, oh man, you can Battlestar Galactica this stuff? Awesome. It was a really solid demo, and I'm looking forward to getting my copy. Now, I can't remember what level I backed it at. Did I back it at Deluxe so I could get these models, or did I back it at the normal level? I don't know. I'd have to double check, because I must admit, I don't particularly care about getting minis, but maybe it works enough for this game that I wanted to do it. Somebody could always paint my ships if I'm that desperate. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. So this one's definitely going to be potentially a Euro highlight of the year. All right. Lands of Evershade, already did a preview of that. Should be pretty cool when that comes out. It was a good one. Stone Saga has actually been sent to me. The publisher got in touch and is sending me a copy of it. So I'm curious to see what this one's like. I mean, it's another campaign game, so it's going to take me a while to get to grips with it. But what I'm a little bit worried about is that Open Owl Studios did a game I wasn't the biggest fan of, Mythwind. I've heard bad things about Stars of Akarios as well. But Mythwind was just boring. Like, I did not get into that one at all. So, have things improved for Stone Saga? Now, the other thing that has me worried is that when I looked at the rulebook to see what this thing was like, I think the rulebook was something like 100 pages. What in the living... seriously? Oh my god. And apparently I'm told that there will be a system to get you stuck into the game, and you won't need more than, say, 20 odd pages to get into the game and start playing it, and then the rest sort of comes in from there. I hope to God you're right, because I am not reading 100 pages of rules before I get stuck into this game. No way. I mean, this game better not be, too difficult to get into. I mean, it says 3.6 out of 5. Wait, 100-page rulebook suggests it should be a damn sight higher, but we'll see. That's just from looking at how many pages of a rulebook has. I know nothing else about this game until then, so they're sending me a copy. I'm going to give it the fair beans, and we'll see what's what. Maybe it'll completely blow me away. I would like it to, please. I like it when games do that. Okay. what have we got? Agricola Special Edition, and I suppose we'll lump in this War of Mine Second Edition as well. Yeah, I did back these. I mean, of course I'm going to back this War of Mine Second Edition because I want a nicer box, I want a proper insert, I mean, I got a reasonable one downstairs, but I want new box, new stuff, revised, like, cards and stuff, extra, like the miniatures, the double layer boards, a revised rule book, Days of the Siege and all that woven into it, so... this is more just an update for me, but yeah, it didn't cost me that much, but I love this War of Mine, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting this. And Agricola, I thought I would give a second chance. I know I have problems with the Agricola scoring system and its hyper-focus on making kits, but you gotta admit, god damn, this one looks nice. It's like, I mean, the artwork on this is what Awakened Realms should be doing. Forget Castles of Smegging Burgundy. I mean, come on, seriously? Not even that fun a game, and why did it need to be tarted up? Agricola may not, it's not the best game ever, but it's farming, it's still a theme I really like. I'm willing to give it a chance after a fair few years of having not played it, but with this artwork, with these tokens, with all this content that's in the deluxe set for barely any cost, I mean, there's so many of these card sets that are in this deluxe set that I never need to worry about any other of the spin-offs that they put in the Kickstarter. It's like, just give me the normal game, the upgraded stuff, and these card sets, and I'm good. I mean, I can't remember if I even asked for Farmers in the Moor and stuff. I might have done, but I certainly didn't want a 5th and 6th player expansion. I certainly didn't want, like, various of these other add-ons and stuff. Definitely wanted the solo mode, so that was definitely a thing, but there are a few, like these little modules like mills and stuff like that. Like, I am not worried about this kind of stuff, but I am definitely looking forward to a lot of this. I mean, we're not going to get like weird models like this house or anything. I didn't back that high. I mean, you could pay stupid amounts of money for this, but I think the deluxe set that I'm getting will still look pretty damn nice, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's have a look. Avalon, the Riven Vale, we'll see. Nope, nothing here of any note. Dying Light, not particularly interested. Never played the PC game, honestly. Cascadia Alpine Lakes. I mean, Cascadia is already great. This feels like it's just a spin-off to keep an IP going. Maybe it'll be good, but I'm not exactly going to look forward to it. Ice 2nd Edition. I didn't like Ice 1st Edition, so nope. Okay, what have we got? Secret Societies? No. Hollow Pact. I mean, as you can scroll down here, I'm really not seeing a lot. I've even put expansions on here, but another Everdell. Yeah, because this company won't shut up about Everdell. Seriously, Everdell is done. Move on, do something else. Star Trek Ascendancy, The Final Frontier, though, I'm looking forward to a little bit, because I have still not played this game, but I would like to play Star Trek Ascendancy. So the idea that they're going to have a box that hopefully clarifies some of the rules, adds different ways to play, a way to play solo with NPC civilizations, and basically just have everything in one box that's all in one place that I can play with other people, could be good. But I still would like somebody to actually show me Star Trek Ascendancy and actually play the wretched thing. But yeah, I'm hopeful that they will make a nice clean set of this, but it's Gale Force 9. Gale Force 9 does vary a lot on this kind of stuff. I mean, just ask Firefly. Let's see, what else we got? Endeavor Deep Sea, that's an expansion. Restart, I've played that one. It's got problems. I don't think that one's going to be as big a hit as some people might think. Let's see what we got. I mean, there's a bunch of these games I've just never heard of, though. I mean, Towers of Sifnos. What's this from? Oh, this is a Garfield game. Oh, blimey, I didn't hear this one. Towers of Sifnos. Garfield games? So this is another one of those, like, historical theme ones. Well, I gotta admit, the historical theme ones I'm not as big into, although this looks very different from their other fare of games. I'm intrigued. But really, I'm more interested in Garfield Games releasing the 4th trilogy of their dice games. We've already had, West Kingdom, North Sea, South Tigris. Where's East? That's what I want, because those are the games that they do best. The historical ones are usually okay, but not amazing. So, Skara Brae was fine. Ezra and Nehemiah was a bit boring. The replacement for Raiders of the North Sea, I'd rather play Raiders of the North Sea. So, yeah, these historical ones are not as big for me as others. I'd much rather get their, East trilogy and see what that's like. Vestige, Calypso, a lot of these games I've just never heard of. Red Dog Junction. I mean, what the hell is this? Trismegistus, the board and dice reprint. I mean, the first game was fine, but it was stupidly overcomplicated, so hopefully they've cleaned this up, but I'll wait and see. It's not like I'm looking forward to it. Movers and Shakers, no, that's a Railways game, not happening. Army of Darkness, oh, that just looks like a spin-off thing. Obviously a IP focus thing. What do we else? Distilled expansion. We got the Colosseum. That's a different one. Oh, that's a different Colosseum, not the Colosseum I'm thinking of. Battle Monsters, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. I mean, like I say, I'm looking at these titles and just nothing jumps out to me as interesting here. Tekken the board game, and there's the war of mine. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's see if anything else can come up. Snowdonia Grand Tour. Snowdonia is okay, but it's not particularly like a game I go mad for. Definitely looking forward to the Earth Animal Kingdom expansion. For Earth, I love Earth. I am definitely down for having little animal meeples that move around my board and do stuff, so I am definitely looking forward to this. On that note, the Wingspan expansion that was announced, the Americas one, could be good, but you're a little late to the party bringing out another expansion for Wingspan after you made that god-awful nesting box, and everything I've got up to Asia fits in the base box with the insert I've got. So the idea that I'm going to have to then bring that nesting box off the shelf, the one I reviewed years ago and gave a 4 out of 10, yeah, I've still got it because I know they're going to release more content for Wingspan. It's in there just taunting me. The fact that I might have to bring it out is, I don't know, but it depends if the Americas expansion is any good. I hear it's releasing at the end of the month. So, assuming that you don't have to, well, I suppose maybe I will have to pre-order it. I never get review copies from Stonemaier anyway, because they know I don't review their games as that highly. But, yeah, I will definitely try to get a copy of Wingspan Americas and do a Beyond the Base Game review for it as quick as possible for you. Okay? So, don't worry about that. One way or another, I'll get a copy of it, even if I just got to pay out of my own cash. Star Trek Captain's Chair to boldly go. I mean, Captain's Chair was fine. I prefer Imperium. Captain's Chair was fine. If you're not a Trekkie nerd, you're not going to understand half the theme. Maybe this expansion will actually finally bring Kirk to the party. Let's see. James T. Kirk, Khan Nguyen Singh, Philippa Giorgio from Star Trek Discovery, don't care. Rebner the Packled Commander from Star Trek Lower Decks. Oh, I don't know. I've not watched Lower Decks. I tried to watch Lower Decks. It's not funny. It's just not funny at all. I didn't laugh at all in the first 4 or 5 episodes, except for 2 times in the same sequence. And that was in the first episode. The guy who looks a bit like Geordie LaForge or whatever, he goes into the training simulation, like where he become the captain, and he fails it miserably. There was like 2 laughs that I went like, one I went hard laughing and one that I chuckled at. The first one is that he fails the simulation and it says casualty rate 105%, and he gets up and goes, wait, how did I kill more than the whole crew? And I just found that a really good gag. And then, like, you know, he was it they on the next simulation they say like the nursery and the kindergarten's gone, we've lost all the kids. He's like, all those kids, and the instructor's like a psycho or whatever. He's going, let's run that again, but with even more children. It's like that. Those 2 bits I laughed at. It's all contained within the same scene. Everything else isn't funny. The other characters aren't funny. The girl, the obnoxious girl or whatever, who's always like the party animal, getting drunk or whatever, hate her guts. You remember the Star Trek Brave New Worlds or Strange New Worlds episode where they crossed over with Lower Decks? I forget his name, the guy who's also in The Boys. He's a good quality actor. He's a good quality voice actor, okay? He even did the Superman cartoon on one of the sort of obscure channels. It was like Adventures of Superman and Lois. No, that's a TV series. A live action one, isn't it? But I don't know. There was a cartoon series recently where he voice acts Superman. I thought that was actually a pretty good series, and I thought he did a good job voice acting Superman, actually. But, you know, he's cool. The girl, though, oh god, I wanted her off the screen. I wanted her in an airlock. She got on my bloody nerves. But, as I say, it's an expansion for the game. Finally, they're bringing in a couple of cool captains and stuff, you know, on top of Janeway and Picard, obviously. No, honestly, Cisco, I didn't find that cool, the captain. I have now watched all of Deep Space Nine. The captain's not my favorite part of it, honestly. Tatsumi, I actually have a copy of Tatsumi to review, but when I knew that it was a 2026 release, effectively, I decided that Tatsumi had to go lower on the priority pile. So I do intend to do some speedy review for it, even if it's just a podcast review, but I will get to it eventually, but it was a low priority. Let's see what we got. Slay the Spire expansion, not a big fan of Slay the Spire. What are these? Vampire Survivors, the board game. Another expansion for Galactic Cruise. It's fine as it is. Although I wouldn't mind the expansion that lets you start with resources to get you a quick start into the game. That I would actually quite like to get in an expansion. But we don't need more variety for all these other bits. It's already a big, bulky game as it is. And some people sort of go, "Oh, I want those modules where the rooms are in different orientations so that you have to get like a left to match with a left, that kind of thing." Yeah, because thematically, when you build a cruise ship in real life, you build it in segments, and they try to line it up, and they go, "Oh, sorry, we can't have that segment. The cabins don't line up properly." Whatever, that's a stupid idea. Let's see. Bagged and boarded. Never heard of it. Railways of the Lost Atlas. No, not happening. River Market. That looks like one of those. I don't know. I've not played the games that this one's done before, but it's done by the same people. KTBG. I mean, it looks cute, so I'm sure it'll be nice and pleasant. But I've never really played the games that came before it. Apart from one, was it Creature Comforts? I think I played that one, and I thought it was okay. Voidfall expansion. Small Folk, Andromeda's Edge expansion, don't care. Europa Universalis, God, more expansions for that game. That was a beast. What else we got? Seven Ages Collector's Edition. Okay, Seven Ages is a game that's a big monster of a game. I mean, it says 77 minutes. That's an absolute load of tat. This thing takes forever. But part of me almost wants to play it just to see how crazy it is. So when they bring a collector's edition of it, I'll be intrigued. What have we got? Berserk, Super Pixel Tactics, Sky Empire, The Brightview Haunting. It's just all these games just don't jump out as anything interesting. Like, I mean, the first bite is with the eye, okay? I'm not going to go through every single one of these entries and purposely look at every single one. I ain't got time for that. What's this? Star Trek Captain's Chair Second Contact. So, hang on a minute. So, there's 2 expansions coming out next year? Contains 3 new captains. Against those in Boldly Go, and against one another, but you'll need common cards. So Carol Freeman, whoever that is, Christopher Pike, cool, and Chromov B. Oh, that's the starting location, or whatever. So it's just basically 2 expansions in the same year. I guess you got to milk it. I mean, Imperium did. So, alright, what else we got? The Sheep. Random. Wingspan Americas, I just mentioned that. Sunday Manager, Stellar Ventures, Age of Bitcoin. Really? This is the title of a game? I mean, I say, there's just, you look for all these, and none of them are stuff that I recognize from the very big publishers, and none of them are, like, getting me excited. And I'm sorry, but if this is what 2026 is throwing at me for the moment, we're in trouble. Arc Nova 3D edition, it was too expensive. There was no way I needed that from Arc Nova, okay? My Arc Nova already looks good enough without needing all that extra bling. Heat Rocky Roads. So let me guess. So this expansion is going to have a board with 2 tracks on it, of which there'll be a new mechanic. It will only work with one of the tracks. It will add another player, which is too much because we already have too many players for this game as it is. And that's it. And it will cost way more than the expansion should. Let me just put that guess on the table. That's what it's going to end up like. Okay, Spirited, the new one from Garfield Games. I've been demoing it at GridCon, and I've played it as well. It's fine. It's a light game. It's a light card game. It's nothing amazing, but it's fine. It's something different. Shrine Dead of Light, Mystic Lands, Dragon Eclipse. Never played Dragon Eclipse. Goat Simulator, the card game. Same people that I think did Deep Rock Galactic. Yeah, I've never played Goat Simulator. I mean, these ones like Goose Simulator and Goat Simulator always confuse me as to why they're super popular, but maybe it's great. I don't know, but Mood Publishing knows how to treat its IPs with respect, much like Glass Cannon Unplugged. In fact, actually, well, I'll come to that in a minute, actually. Hold that thought. Flashpoint Golden State Heroes I'm curious about, because this is meant to re-implement Flashpoint Fire Rescue. I'm down for an up-to-date version of Flashpoint Fire Rescue, frankly, because that was my first game ever reviewed. It's still a great co-op, I just haven't played it in years. So it's probably dropped down my list a fair bit, but I'm down for a resurgence. Because I think this is a co-op that honestly should be, more available to people. Sniper Elite expansion. I'm sure I'll get a copy of this to review for Beyond the Base Game. I like Sniper Elite. I would gladly take some extra bits. Oh, look, Wonderland's War is going into the duel thing, just like everybody else. honestly, I think Wonderland's War actually might be better suited to a dual game than the real game, because it takes way too long, the real game. I mean, you can play a 4 or 5 player game of Wonderland's War, and it can take 2.5 to 3 hours. Why the hell are we playing a push your luck bag building game in 3 hours? That's ridiculous. All the sirens on outside. Let's have a look. Endangered. Paperback adventures, Spell Rift Legends. I mean, now we're just getting into the stuff that no one's heard of. Dinosaur Island fully charged. Is that an expansion? Or a re-implementation? An improved 2.0 version of Dinosaur Island that includes all the content from everything we've ever had, plus new improved gameplay content and upgraded components. I mean, I sold Dinosaur Island in the end, because it did have problems, but you know what? If you can create a 2.0 version and fix the problems, then yeah, you know what? I'm down for it. This is the sort of thing you should do with 2.0s, all right? Take a game that didn't quite work amazingly, although Dinosaur Island was certainly reasonably popular. God blimey, the sirens are just constant. But yeah, take something that wasn't the biggest seller ever and improve it. You know, do that. I'll be keen to see what you do. Anything else? No, that just really isn't. And I wish I could get more excited about 2026, but I just simply can't. One more page. I'm going to do one more page as I sip my coffee and see if anything comes out. So what have we got? Harry Potter Adventures miniatures game. Yay. No. Shackleton Base expansion. Don't care. Shackleton Base was a 6 out of 10 for me at best. I'm not interested in Shackleton Base. All-Time Wrestling Women's Edition. What? Okay. An expansion to All-Time Wrestling. All-Time Wrestling includes 8 superstars such as Jordan Grace, Taya Valkyrie, and the Inspiration. What? I don't know. I don't watch wrestling. Most of it's fake. What have we got? Vampire the Masquerade, Goblin Cave, Koopabarra versus Pelicans. What? Flickering Ships, Dice Throne, Vanguard. There's just really nothing on this list. I mean, oh my god, seriously. Oh, Jackpot, set the reel. Jackpot was the game I've been demoing at Drander Games at Essen and that, which, to be fair, is a pretty neat little game. I'm not just saying that because of chums with Drander Games, but this actually is a pretty unique game. The idea that you're trying to make, it's a light game. It's a light family game, and you're trying to get 3 in a row in order to, trigger points and get bonuses. But you get coins based on the top icon on the card. But you play your cards in rows of 3, so because like a normal slot machine, and you get different bonuses depending on whether you get 1, 2, or 3 in a row. But you play them in columns. The column at the end of the round that has the most money in it is how much income you get. You use this to buy cards. But all of these cards are double-sided. So you can basically pay to flip the card over, and this can change what suit it is, but it could also upgrade the card into something more powerful. And it's a hand management game where you never change the order of cards in your hand. So there's no luck. Once you get your initial set of cards and thin them out, that is the last of the randomness in this game. There is no randomness in this game of like lightweight family jackpot thing, which I know is weird for a game that's set around a fruit machine. But somebody asked me, is this my design? I wish the hell it was. I wish that I designed something like this, because I would be proud to have something this light, have no luck in it, and still be a pretty enjoyable light game that you can get done in 30 to 40 minutes. I mean, you know, it's a solid one. I look forward to seeing how this does for Drander, honestly. But I've sung the praises about it enough, so, there you go. Let's see, Mission Drive, Lost Aura, SAS, For the Gods. This is from Mighty Boards. I've been given a prototype copy to do a preview for it at some point in early Feb, so I'll look into that at some point in the next month, I suspect. Pampuro, Tech on Death, Ancient Empires, Rolling, Explorers of the Woodlands, Unmatched, Expansion, 14ers, what's that mean? Nothing. I just can't find anything. Although, something I need to check. Don't Starve. Because that was the Glass Cannon preview I did, and we're looking forward to that. Oh, for God's sake, bloody apostrophe nonsense. Alright, hang on. Don't Starve. There we go. Ah, damn it. Don't Starve's going to be a 2027 release. Oh, that's a shame. I mean, it was a solid game. and I look forward to see how it pans out when it gets fully released. I'm sure that they'll ask me to do a review when that time comes, but 2027, yeah, you're going to be waiting a while, guys, so we'll cross this bridge when it comes. All right, well, that's it. I bet that's as much as I can even get remotely excited for 2026. I know you were hoping that I would be raving about a lot of games, but no, as I scroll through that list, if you're watching on YouTube, you can just see that there's just so little there to get that, like, worked up about. And as I read them out, when I read these titles, do these titles sound interesting to you? I don't know, but this is why I don't do anticipated lists anymore, because there's just not a lot to really anticipate. You don't have enough detail. Most games can still release terrible from people that do things well. So rather than get too hyped up about it, I prefer to just wait and see what comes out and be pleasantly surprised. That's the way I prefer to work. But, if there's a game that I did not mention in that entire list that you are really anticipating for 2026, maybe I forgot about one that really I will be anticipating, there's a lot of games released, then by all means get it in the comments and let me know what are your anticipated 2026 games. So I'll be interested to know. But that's it for me. I'm going to sign off this episode for once before the hour time limit is up. Take care, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Here we go, 2026, I guess. More stuff from the Broken Meeple to come, and I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple show. Take care, love you all.